Some of the best Sigmund Freud's quotes that tell a lot about ourselves. Quotes that change everything in our lives. The mind is everything. What you think, you become. Love and work. Work and love. That's all there is. The only person with whom you have to compare yourself is you in the past. The mind is like a stomach. It is not how much you put into it that counts, but how much it digests. A person who feels loved can do anything. Being entirely honest with oneself is a good exercise. One day, in retrospect, the years of struggle will strike you as the most beautiful. Unexpressed emotions will never die. They are buried alive and will come forth later in uglier ways. The voice of the intellect is a soft one, but it does not rest until it has gained a hearing. Most people do not really want freedom because freedom involves responsibility, and most people are frightened of responsibility. Out of your vulnerabilities will come your strength. We are never so defenseless against suffering as when we love. One is very crazy when in love. Men are more moral than they think and far more immoral than they can imagine. The mind is like an iceberg. It floats with 1/7 of its bulk above water. The great question that has never been answered, and which I have not yet been able to answer, despite my 30 years of research into the feminine soul, is: what does a woman want? Time spent with cats is never wasted. The mind is not a vessel to be filled, but a fire to be kindled. Civilization began the first time an angry person cast a word instead of a rock. The only thing that can never be taken away from us is the love we give to others. The mind is like a sheet of paper with nothing written on it. The quality of the paper determines how beautiful the writing will be. The mind is a labyrinth where the psyche is compelled to wander, lost and confused, until it finally finds its way to the center of the labyrinth, which is the self. The goal of all life is death. Words have a magical power. They can bring either the greatest happiness or deepest despair. How bold one gets when one is sure of being loved. In the small matters, trust the mind. In the large ones, the heart. The scope of one's personality is defined by the magnitude of that problem, which is capable of driving a person out of his wits. We choose not randomly each other. We meet only those who already exist in our subconscious. Who lacks sex speaks about sex. Hungry talks about food. A person who has no money about money. And our oligarchs and bankers talk about morality. We enter the world with loneliness and lonely leave it. Without love, we fall ill. Maturity is the ability to postpone gratification. Before you diagnose yourself with depression or low self-esteem, first make sure that you are not, in fact, just surrounded by assholes. Experience teaches us that the world is not a nursery. The first indication of stupidity is a complete lack of shame. Friendship is an act of keeping distance, while love is an art of intimacy. A father's death is the most important event, the most heartbreaking and poignant loss in a man's life. Thought is action in rehearsal. I cannot think of any need in childhood as strong as the need for a father's protection. The act of birth is the first experience of anxiety, and thus the source and prototype of the effect of anxiety.